ride. So, welcome everyone to a special midday live edition, break time from work edition of the Goddess Talks. I am so excited to have Ashley Johns from Fierce Forward on here today. Ashley makes my most favorite jewelry, among other amazing things. I'm wearing my Magic Malin necklace today, Ashley, and a Fierce Forward bracelet. And this one says, what does this one say? Do the work, this one says. So I'm decked out in one of a couple of my many, many pieces of yours. So
you look
thank you. Well, thank you. You do as well. Thank you so much for coming on. For those of you who are watching now or watching later, I did want to say that I'm so honored to have Ashley has been sharing. You have given yourself a 30-day challenge, correct?
Yes.
Where you are sharing stories and experiences and lessons in fierceness that you have learned in your own life. And you've been so amazingly vulnerable and honest and just completely candid in those stories that I've been reading. So I was hoping that you'd spend a few minutes today and maybe share one of your days of stories today.
I would love to. I'm so excited to be here and to share. I started this 30-day challenge because I realized that one of the things that's been holding me back just from progressing, growing in my own life, in my own self, in my business, is being vulnerable. And I feel to a degree I've been pretty vulnerable in my business, and I put my heart on the table, but there's been some things in the past that have really hurt me, and I realized I can't keep letting things from my past keep me from fully connecting and sharing who I really am, because also that then risks not being able to help people, and that's really what I want to do, is just help as much as I can. So yeah, I started this. It's been 18 days now. So I wake up every day and that's the first thing I do. I just write something from the heart and share it.
It's been amazing to read. It's been so beautiful to see, you talk about, you inspire me so much because, as I think I've talked to you about before, I'm working on my own journey of a coaching business and starting working with women, and, my goals, I think, align a lot with yours in that my passion is empowering other women and lifting other women up and helping other women who maybe are feeling a little bit restless or uncertain, find their purpose and their passion and realize how empowered they really are, and just really to stand in their power. And, all of us, I think, have a point or a person or an alter ego where we're that's your fierceness is this person. I think I've shared the example before of Beyonce has Sasha Fierce, right? That's her stage presence. And I think we all have our own version of that, but I think the goal is to hopefully be that person all the time. So be the most ideal, authentic, amazing versions of our goddess selves all the time. But that's not easy because there's so many reasons and so many things that have happened. And so one of the things I feel that you're doing in telling your stories is not only are you sharing your journey and being vulnerable, which is so healing to you, but you're giving others permission, I think, to be vulnerable with themselves. And in seeing you do that and in seeing you share that, I feel that you're giving other people permission to also say, wow, if she can do it, if this is what she's gone through, if this is what she's overcome, I can share my stories too. And I think sharing a story is it's so inspiring, but it's just so helpful to other people because you don't feel other people get it, right? So what has the response been? How has the response been in your sharing of your stories?
I would say initially when I started the challenge, it was actually a lot more engagement. And I've noticed one of the things I want to do is go back through and see what do people really connect with. And just kind of observe myself and the shares I've chosen to share and just see what people, the world right now is really like craving to hear. And the biggest one I've noticed is the one on trust. And so I talked about my, I want to say issue. I want to say my lack of trust of women. That's been a really hard one for me because I've been betrayed in the past by a group of women, by women growing up, just a lot of women. And I can get with guys and just shoot the shit, and it's always been cool. Like, and I don't want to say I feel like I'm a guy, or I'm that kind of a girl, but I've always kind of related that way because I've always felt safe around men, and just in a friendship way, like just in a
Right.
very safe. And so I shared a little bit about why I don't trust and why I'm really trying to trust. And that's like part of this challenge is me opening my heart again. And, still, even when I talk about this story, it's like my throat kind of closes off. And I think what happened was I just didn't face it enough when it happened. I didn't actually know what was going on. So I opened this Facebook group. Maybe I should just talk about this day that I shared about with trust because you wanted me to talk about the day. So I started a Facebook group. It was like 2013, and I really just wanted to empower women. I wanted to bring women together in this space, and I've always loved just helping people, especially women, because I'm a woman and I love women. And we had ambassadors, I held meetups, I traveled across the country and just met these women and brought them together and us together. And we had ambassadors for the brand.
Awesome.
I was talking with women on the phone like every week, and they were coming to events like the Arnold Sports Festival and helping to sell the jewelry and represent the brand. And what happened was there were several people who started to want what I had created, essentially. They wanted purpose. And I think we all do. I've always
Right.
said, try to be yourself and create from your heart, because that's the truest path that you can create. It's not going to be in copying someone or doing it exactly like someone else's or getting the fast fix. But that's what happens. And essentially what happened is people started Facebook groups that were very similar in name, and then they would invite people from that group, and then people were slandering my name, just saying I said things that I didn't say, reselling the jewelry. I was so hurt.
Oh,
And I really, I shut down. I didn't know what to do. Like, I think anyone who's ever been bullied might understand this.
yeah.
It's not like I was bullied, but it was a group of people, and I had never experienced that in my life. And a group of women that I poured myself into, I gave myself to. I spent most of my time developing this group, like years. And I loved these women. And I think that's what was like the most crushing part is I had created this group and this brand Fierce Forward to help women like see themselves, love themselves. And then I felt like I was betrayed.
Yeah.
So what happened along the way is I really questioned what I was doing. I questioned what I was doing at Fierce Forward. Like, what am I doing this for if if I'm getting crushed by people and they just want to take. I literally was feeling like a rag doll, like being pulled apart, and just like my heart, I had nothing left. I had gained all this weight. My husband actually video recorded me, and he's like, and I look back at the video now, and this was like 4 years ago when I closed the group down. This was also where all of my income was coming from as well, and how I was staying in business. And I was like bright red. I was inflamed. I was
Mm.
so unhealthy, and I was crying. I was like, I have to shut the group down. I feel so bad because I know so many other amazing women loved that group, and it wasn't their fault. These other women, I just felt so bad I had to do this, but I had to protect my health. I had
Yeah.
to, the space was no longer a good space, and I couldn't address it. I didn't know how to. I had never experienced this before. So the way I moved through it was kind of like going inward and going in a closet for a couple years. I continued doing what I did at Fierce Forward and making jewelry, but I was very hurt. And so part of this challenge is sometimes I notice it's still there. And
Mm,
I'm just trying to, like, it doesn't matter who sees it. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of me, women, man, it doesn't matter. Like, this is my
mhm.
work of just truly putting myself on a platter and to the world and saying, it's okay. Like, this is who I am. And now truth and trusting myself and my truth means more to me than anyone else's opinion or anyone's taking my ideas. You know,
Yeah,
it's always, for me, it's never been about that they wanted what I had or they wanted purpose. It was about the way they did it. And
right.
I could have helped them in another way if they would have asked. So I think so much of this is just about me trusting myself and life, and that things happen to us that can be really traumatic and so hard and hurtful. But when we can learn from them and become better people, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I don't want to hide this part of me anymore. Like, I was hurt. That's it. And I want to share it because I don't know, maybe there's some other women out there who don't feel connected to women, who don't have never felt accepted by other women. I don't know, but I
Yeah.
just, so that's what I'm trying to do, is just share.
I mean, there for sure there are. I mean, I think it's actually a rare occurrence. I feel that, someone hasn't had that feeling of, especially if you're a genuinely trusting or caring or person who values connection, it very often could help it happen that betrayal sort of happens. And myself, I was in a sorority in college, and while I have beautiful relationships that have developed out of it, especially years later, I actually had a few similar experiences where I was such a sensitive person to so much that I didn't guard my heart. And I've learned, though, that I don't want to guard my heart, right? Like, I don't want to have to guard my heart or put up a wall because I'm afraid someone's going to hurt me. And I think the biggest thing, and I think we've talked about this when we did your amazing podcast,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's not a zero-sum game. And I think that's what's really important for women to start understanding about each other. Yes, like, no one's going to make your jewelry the way you make your jewelry, but somebody else can make jewelry, and you could teach them how to make jewelry, and they can be successful in making jewelry, and you could both be doing it and both have customers, and their success won't take away from your success. And you can be beautiful, and I can be beautiful, and she can be beautiful, and it doesn't mean that it takes away from any of that. And so I think if people start to realize that we all can take up space without having to take it away from somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
then I think that need to almost be deceitful or duplicitous and take from somebody else's idea or draw from somebody else. And I think we all draw inspiration from other people,
Yeah.
and I think that's the point. I think the point of being a strong, empowered woman goddess is that you want others to take that inspiration and say, hey, I want to be like that. Like I've said to you, I take inspiration from you. I see your journey and I think, wow, like she's doing what I want. She's doing it. She has taken her passion and made it her life, and it's happened. And that's just so inspiring. But that doesn't mean that if I start doing it, you can't anymore, you know? And
Right.
so, and it's just, I'm so grateful to you and the universe that you feel that you came out of it and that you stuck with it and that you're still here and doing it, and that you have your podcast and you have the jewelry line and you have all of the amazing things that you offer, because it's not just jewelry, it's also some really cool other things as well. And just that you are, as you say, continuing to fierce forward and be who you are, because you're awesome and incredible. And I'm just so grateful to have met you. And I'm so glad that you continue doing this, because the world would be missing out if you didn't, for sure.
Thank you. I think what I'm feeling called to share right now is just one of the biggest takeaways I've had from that experience is that, I really doubted myself. Like, why would people do that to me? I never would do that to someone, and I never have. I've only given love and help. And, I didn't understand it. And what happened was I just shut my heart off to other women in general. And there were so many amazing women, and there still are. And friends, like finding really strong female friendships has not been an easy thing in my life. And I continue to keep my heart open and I had to shut my heart off like for years to
Yeah.
be able to reopen it and say I'm committed to keeping it open now, because that was a reflection of them and this is me, and it is separate. Their
Yeah.
How they felt towards me is not how I feel towards me. And so much of it was really showing me that who I am. Like I have a big heart. I love women. I love women so much. And I stopped saying that for a while. And I
Yeah.
never want to do that again. You know, I always want to be true and be who I am. And I do believe the right people will find us when you are that.
Hmm.
So experiences can be hard and really traumatic, but I think as long as you come out of them and you learn from them, doesn't matter how much time it can take you to heal. I've just that's really one of the biggest things reasons why I'm doing this challenge is to just like crack my heart open again and just say fuck it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
And you have to, because you're doing yourself and the world a disservice by closing yourself off. I mean, you have such a bright spirit. And as you said, anytime that I think that there's a conflict, especially if it's like, and you're feeling that sense of why are they doing this? I don't think it matters why, really, because it's not, that's not you. That's not your problem. No, I don't want to say not your problem, but it's really not. When
Yeah.
someone is actively doing something that's hurting you, it's not you that has the issue. And it's really hard to cut that off and not question ourselves and say, well, what can I do different? And who can I be better? And how can and we always want to be the best version of ourselves with other people and with ourselves, obviously. But also we can't take responsibility. Like, one of my favorite quotes that I have the hardest time living by is that it's not my business what other people think of me. What other people think of me is not my business. And I say that so often, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things for me to stick with, because everybody, I mean, who doesn't instantly go to what can I do different? How can I be better? Why am I not the person that, why are they doing this, or why aren't they treating me certain ways? And then I realized, you know what? Like, as you said, the people who are meant to be there are going to come. The people who are meant to follow you are going to follow you. The people who are meant to be in your orbit and in your tribe are going to be there, and it's going to be authentic and real, and it's going to, be fruitful in your life. And that's all that really matters. And if there's people that it just it's not vibing with for whatever reason, then that's okay too. It's okay too, but it doesn't mean that you stop keeping your heart open for those people to come back in, right? It doesn't mean that you stop putting yourself out there, because you could really be cutting yourself off to something awesome.
It's
So I'm
true.
so happy to hear that you're working on it, because you're just so awesome and amazing and inspiring. And I just love everything you post, and like every picture you post. I've said this so many times, like every picture you post, like of yourself wearing your jewelry, like it just screams badass. Like every time. I'm like, good Lord, she is just like a desert goddess, like in
I love
every
it.
picture.
Like, yeah, I'm in my
Um,
thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I want to be mindful of your time, and I'm actually on my actual break. So this is a real break time,
I love that
time
you like
live.
made it work and you stretched it, and it's important to
Yeah,
be mindful.
I was like, I'll take my break, and I'm actually at a local ice cream place down the street from my job. It's like, I'll just do it different. It doesn't have to be, So this is amazing, and I honor you, and thank you for coming on. I just, how can people find you? Like, where can people buy your jewelry, follow you, listen to you?
Yeah. So I'm doing my challenge on at Fierce Ashley Johns on Instagram. And then I'm also at Fierce.forward, and I'm very active on social media. You can go to fierceforwardjewelry.com. So everything is meaningful jewelry to align with your highest self. I'm very into just always moving forward and finding that better version of yourself and keep moving forward every single day. So yeah, that's where you can find me. Thanks for putting that in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I encourage people to check out your website and check out your jewelry. And just one final thing, making the magic mala necklace with you was an amazing experience. So anybody who can do that, I encourage you to look on Ashley's website and find out how to do that, because it was a beautiful, beautiful experience that resulted in a treasured piece of jewelry that I will forever love and cherish. And so thank you so much, Ashley. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope we'll
Alex.
speak soon.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.